Because of the reticular activating system, when you start taking action, even when it's imperfect, your brain will start working for you instead of against you. And so this means that instead of being stuck and overwhelmed and telling yourself all sorts of stories and excuses, you now have a personal assistant that is working for you. It's showing you everything that you need at exactly the right time. Imagine where you could be if you start taking imperfect action today. Imagine all the skills and the confidence that you'll have. Hi everyone, I'm about to tell you something that is going to sound so backwards, but it is literally helping me to change my life. Are you ready to hear? The secret is not in waiting until you have a perfect plan. It's not in waiting until you are ready. It's not even knowing what you're doing. The secret is being willing to look completely foolish, making not so good content, and being willing to fail in public. Like I said, sounds pretty crazy, right? For the first 38 years of my life, I was stuck in victim consciousness. And I talked about this in my last video, how to escape the prison of your mind and take back your power. And if you missed that video or episode, make sure to check that out. I talk about how we can go from being a victim to being the creator of our life. For me, I was always waiting until the right time. I was waiting until I had enough information. I was waiting until some big idea came to me with the whole perfect plan all mapped out for me. So I was just always waiting around until I had everything figured out. And I know for the first 38 years of my life, I did not believe in myself. I did not think that I had any talent or gifts or anything to offer. But here's what I discovered that changed everything for me. I am sure that we have all heard of the reticular activating system by now. And because of the reticular activating system, when you start taking action, even when it's imperfect, your brain will start working for you instead of against you. And so this means that instead of being stuck and overwhelmed and telling yourself all sorts of stories and excuses, you now have a personal assistant that is working for you. It's showing you everything that you need at exactly the right time. It's providing all of the information that you might need. So if you've been stuck in victim mode, if you've been waiting for the perfect moment to start your business, or to start creating content or art that you've been wanting to create, or to start writing that book that you've been wanting to start writing for years, or to have that conversation that is long overdue, or to chase your dream, whatever it is, this video is going to show you why starting messy and scared is actually your biggest advantage and why it will change your life. Are you ready to get messy and create the life of your dreams? If so, let's begin. Most of us are stuck in what we can call the someday syndrome. Someday when I have more money, someday when I have more time, someday when I'm more confident, someday when I know what I'm doing, someday when I have it all figured out, someday when I have the perfect plan, when I have more knowledge or more skills or tools, then I'll start. But someday syndrome is actually a victim mindset in disguise. When we're waiting for the perfect conditions, we're basically saying I'm powerless until external circumstances change. But external circumstances are never going to be perfect. There's that saying, if not now, when? In the last few years, I personally have had this desire to help people, and that's why I started making videos. That's why I started making posts and creating content online, because I've learned a lot of tools and knowledge and skills that have helped me change my life, and I want to help provide that for other people. And I believe that we can hear the same thing from different people and we understand it better. And so I just am like, I want to put the knowledge and the tools and skills that I've learned into my own words and explain it to other people. And maybe they'll understand it better hearing it from me than somebody else. A few years ago, I was at rock bottom. And like I said, I've used this knowledge, these skills to transform me personally and change my entire life. But for the last year or two, I felt like I wasn't ready. I felt like I needed to have a perfect plan. I needed to have it all figured out. And I was waiting for this big divine plan to drop into my mind, and I was just going to know exactly what I needed to do. I didn't even know what I was going to be doing when I first started making posts a year or so ago. I felt like, who am I to be doing this? I just did not believe in myself. I didn't think that I really had anything to offer at the time, but I knew that I wanted to have something to offer. I wanted to help other people. I thought I needed to have all of these certifications and all of these trainings. And I was just waiting for somebody to tell me, like, now is the perfect time. You're ready. Like, let's do this. But none of that happened. I'm still not ready. I still don't have it all figured out. I still don't know what I'm doing. And I still don't have this perfect plan that like dropped in my lap. But here's what I do know. The path is forming as I walk it. Each step I take, I'm getting more and more pieces of information, more and more parts of the puzzle of what lights me up, what feels like the right next step for me. And so the path is literally forming as I walk it. But the path wouldn't form if I had never taken that first initial step. Think of it like this. Each step on the path cannot be activated until you step on the one before it. And so if you never take that first step to step out on the platform, that next step will never be able to form. It won't be activated. Every day you don't start is a day that you are telling yourself that your dreams don't matter, that you're not capable, that you don't have any talents or gifts to offer the world, and that you're just not worthy of this life that you want. When we stay in victim consciousness, our brains start looking for evidence that we can't do something instead of looking for the evidence that we can do something and that we are capable of this. And when we believe that we can't do something, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And this is because if we don't believe that we can do something, we're not going to try very hard, or we're never going to start. And so we're never going to succeed. And then our brain is going to go, see, I knew you couldn't do it. And then that just means the next time you're not going to take action, you're not going to believe in yourself. And our brain will never get that new evidence that we can do something, that we are capable, if we never take the first step, if we never believe in ourselves, and if we never try. And I talk about this in my episode talking about the power of perception. The moment that you shift from being a victim to being a creator of your life, everything changes. And it doesn't happen when you feel ready. It doesn't happen when everything is perfect. It happens when you decide to start anyways. When you decide to start messy, when you are willing to look stupid or to look crazy. And when you do this, when you are willing to put yourself out there like that, you are sending a signal to your brain and to yourself that you trust yourself, that you are capable. And you know that you'll be able to figure it out as you go. And this is so powerful because now your brain is going to start working for you instead of against you. I have not been creating content for very long. A little over a year ago, I started writing posts. I was too scared to do any videos. And so I started out with posts. And then after doing that for a little bit, I felt inspired to make a video. And so I started making videos, and they were not very good. I mean, they're pretty terrible. But I had this desire in my heart to help others, and I wanted to start getting my message out there. I wanted to start sharing what I've learned. And that is what mattered to me. And that desire was more important to me than looking stupid or foolish. And so I put the videos out there, and it got me started. It was the first step. I stepped out onto that platform. I was willing to be seen in my imperfection because of my desire and this dream in my heart. Each video got better and better, and I just keep getting better. I look back on my videos at the beginning, and yeah, it's easy to cringe and be like, "Eeh." And I'm sure a year from now, I'm gonna look back on this video and be like, "Eeh, what was I doing?" But like right now, I think it's good because this is where I'm at in my journey, and it's beautiful exactly as it is. And I'm trusting myself to be able to figure it out as I go. I'm learning new skills and new tools. I'm learning more knowledge each and every day, but I wouldn't be learning this knowledge if I had never started, and I'm going to break this down and explain why. There is no perfect path waiting for you to discover it. The path literally does not exist until you start walking it. Every step that you take creates the next step. Every action, every step reveals new information, reveals the next step on your journey, the next thing that you need to do. And every mistake and failure along the way teaches you something that you could not have learned any other way. Whenever you take a new action, you're forming a new pathway in your brain. You have to be able to provide the evidence for your brain to be able to rewire, to be able to form this new neural pathway. And so every new experience rewires a new pathway in your brain. And this new pathway opens up so many more possibilities that you didn't have access to until you formed this first pathway. You now have access to more choices, more options, more skills, more knowledge. But again, you have to be willing to form the pathway initially. You have to take that first step. Even if it's messy, even if it's terrible, you have to be willing to look a little silly in order to provide that evidence for your brain. Okay, so at the beginning of the episode, I talked about the reticular activating system. And I think we all understand and know what this is by now, but just in case you don't, your reticular activating system is like a filter in your brain. Every second, you are bombarded with millions of bits of information through all of your senses, and your conscious mind can only process a small portion of that. And so your reticular activating system has to decide what information gets to pass through to your conscious mind. And it does so based on what it thinks is important to you, based on your beliefs and your thoughts. It also uses your interest in things that are of importance to you. And an example of this is I have a friend that really likes to bird watch. I was just at her house the other day, and we were sitting there having coffee and having a wonderful conversation. And during the conversation, she would be like, "Oh, that's such and such bird." She could tell by the sounds. Or she would see one fly by and be like, "Oh, that's this bird or that bird." And for me sitting here, I don't hear the birds. I don't see the birds. And it's so impressive to me that she's able to see the bird, notice its tail, and know exactly what kind of a bird it is just by catching a glimpse of its tail. And I have spent time with her before, and she just is always able to spot these birds way far away. And it's just so impressive to me, right? Because I just don't notice the birds, but to her, she does, because her brain has highlighted them because they are of importance to her. It is an interest of hers. So you might be thinking, okay, that sounds really cool, but how do I use this information and apply this to my life so that I can start taking action towards my goal? And like I said earlier, I'm going to break it down to show you exactly how starting messy and how just starting helps you change your life. When you start taking action towards a goal, you're setting an intention and you start moving towards it. Your RAS, your reticular activating system, gets the message that this is now important to you. And like I said at the beginning of the episode, it's now going to start working like your personal assistant. You're going to walk into a bookstore and the perfect book is going to stand out to you. Whereas before you would have walked by and not even noticed this book because this wasn't important to you. It wasn't relevant for you. So your brain just did not even process it or allow it through to your conscious mind. You're going to overhear a conversation and hear exactly the right thing that you need to hear. You'll strike up a conversation with somebody and you'll be able to form a new connection, and this person will now be able to help you on the next step of your journey. A song lyric in the car is going to hit you at the exact right time, and it's going to inspire you for your next idea or for the next step on your journey. And so your brain is now highlighting everything in your external reality that matches what you have now deemed important. It's highlighting your interests, your values, and just anything that is of importance to you. It's now highlighting them all. They're out there, but you're just now seeing them. Like I talked about in my last episode, when you start looking at a car to purchase, you start seeing the car everywhere. The car's always there, but you're not seeing it because your reticular activating system is not bringing it through to your conscious mind. But once you start looking at the car, your brain goes, oh, this car is important. We like this car. And so then you start seeing that car everywhere. And so that plays out with your interests, with your goals, your dreams, whatever it is. When you take that first step, you're saying, this is important to me. This is where I'm now putting my energy and my effort. And so your brain will then, like I said, highlight everything that will help you get to the next step. Like I said, your brain is constantly scanning the external environment, and it's processing way more information than your conscious mind can even fathom. And your reticular activating system only allows through to your conscious mind what you're focusing on, where you're putting your time, your energy, your attention, because your brain is saying this is important. There's that saying, when a student is ready, the teacher appears, and that's because the student is asking the questions. The student is looking and searching, and they wouldn't see the teacher if they weren't first looking and searching. They would probably maybe see a YouTube video pop up and not even click on it because it's just not important to them. Or they may not even see the video, right? They could just be scrolling down and it doesn't even catch their eye. But when they're looking for what that teacher has to offer, their brain's gonna go, oh, this video right here, let's click on this. And so if you're watching this video, that means that this content that I'm sharing is of importance to you and your brain has highlighted it for you. And so here you are watching it. So thank you to your reticular activating system. I appreciate you. And so when we take an action, that signals to our brain, oh, we're doing this. This is real. Let's go. Let's do this. And then the next step forms. And then the next step forms on your journey. If we're only ever dreaming or planning, our reticular activating system does not get the message that this is important. It's always a in the future, someday, maybe when we get there. And so it's stored maybe in the back of your mind, but it's not brought to the forefront of your conscious mind until you start taking action. When we look at a goal and if it feels so big and huge for us, our brain gets overwhelmed. It doesn't know where to begin or where to start. And so this is why our dreams and our goals always remain a possibility for the future. It's one of the biggest reasons why we never start taking action now, here, today. Your brain will shut down, it will freeze because it's so overwhelmed and it doesn't see how it's going to be able to get to the end goal. And so when we look at it from the big end goal, our brain is so overwhelmed and it's like, well, I'm not even going to start and even going to try because I don't know how to get there from here. I'm just going to conserve my energy and focus on what I do know right now. And this is where dopamine is going to become your new best friend. Dopamine isn't released when we have this distant, far off, someday goal. Dopamine is released when we take an action, when we accomplish a step, when we complete the project. Then we get a hit of dopamine, and this is going to reward us, right? It's going to feel really good. Our brain is going to be like, I like that. Yes, please. I'll take more of that. And so then it does the next step. And then you get a dopamine hit, and then it does the next step. It keeps fueling you forward. It just motivates you. And so the secret is to focus on the very first small step that you can take instead of focusing on your end goal. Like they say, you should backwards plan. Start at your end goal and then go backwards and then start at the first step. Or you might not even know your end goal. Like I said, I don't know my end goal, and I didn't when I first started making videos. I just knew I wanted to help. And so I took the first step, and then the next step forms, and then the next idea comes to me, and my path forms as I walk it. But again, if we're only focusing on the end goal and never breaking it down into smaller actionable goals, then we're just not going to start. I didn't set out to be creating content on YouTube. I never imagined that I would be here posting videos on YouTube, but because I started making videos, my brain started highlighting videos that talk about how to make better videos, and then I'm applying that knowledge, and that's just going to keep happening, right? We keep elevating, we keep leveling up, but it's like going up a stair, right? We level up and we get better and better to get to this end goal, although I don't think there ever is an end goal. I think it's always evolving and it's always changing and it's just always going up. But we can't get here if we don't take the first step, right? Going up the stairs. Success is never about one big moment of achievement or inspiration. Success is built through a series of small wins that compound over time. Even the person that you think was an overnight success was not an overnight success. They had years of creating, of researching, of failing, of frustration and overwhelm to become the version of themselves that can handle this overnight success. It's never about the end goal. It's about the journey. And I know that that sounds so cliche, but it really has to do with the science of motivation and the dopamine and the rewards that we get along the journey with each step that we take. Every time we achieve something or accomplish a goal, we get the dopamine. And so it's never really the end goal. It's the journey along the way. It's all of the skills that we learn, all of the tools, all of the wisdom. It's all of the growth and the evolution of who we are as a person. It's about learning about ourselves. It's about getting rid of limiting beliefs. It's about stepping into our full potential. We have all of the potential in the world. It's about the journey of becoming who we are meant to be in this world and our purpose and what we're meant to do. There's no end goal because the end goal just keeps going higher and higher as we reach the next level of the person that we can be. And here's something that might surprise you. We actually don't want all of our dreams to come true instantly. We've all heard about lottery winners, right? Studies show that most people who win the lottery end up less happy than they were before they won. And this is because when someone wins the lottery, they get a massive surge of dopamine. I can't even imagine the amount of dopamine that someone gets from winning the lottery. But I do know it ruins lives. And this is because this is the biggest hit of dopamine that they have ever experienced or will ever experience in their life. And so everything else will not be able to compete. Everything else falls short. And so they spend the rest of their life or the next year when they still have all of that money chasing that high, trying to get to it. And nothing can compare. And so they're just always left feeling less happy than they would be if they just had never won the lottery, because their brain had to adapt to that high level of stimulation. And so normal life just feels flat and unsatisfying now. It's just like when we are addicted to a substance, we need more of it the next time that we use in order to achieve the same level of a high that we had last week. And so I feel that the same principle applies to your goals, your dreams. If you could snap your fingers and have your dream body, your dream career, your dream relationship, your dream bank account all at once, what else is there to accomplish? You will have gotten that huge surge of dopamine, and then the rest of life is just going to feel very unsatisfying and you'll be bored. You'll be robbing yourself of, like I said, everything you learn about yourself, all of the growth and all of the changes that you make. And with each step that you accomplish, you believe in yourself more and more, and it builds confidence. All of the confidence and the skills and the wisdom that you gain on the journey is what it is all about. Research shows that people who achieve their goals through consistent effort over time report higher levels of satisfaction and happiness than people who achieve the same goals quickly or easily. So if you're feeling frustrated that your progress is slow, remember that slow growth is building your character, it's building your skills, it's building your confidence. And it's making you into the person that you dream to be, that you desire to be. A person who can not only achieve the goals, but maintain the success that comes from accomplishing these goals. Okay, so you might be thinking, this sounds great, this is empowering, yes, but how do I get myself to take that first step? How do I believe in myself in order to start? Because this is where we need to be able to have the skills necessary to go from being a victim to being a creator of our life. When you are in victim mode, life is happening to you. External circumstances need to change. And so you're waiting for somebody else, or you're waiting for the right time. You just have no control. And you might even be focusing on all of the reasons why you can't do this, why you're not qualified, and why you just don't have what it takes. whether that's money or time. When we shift from being a victim to a creator, we realize that we are the creator of our own experience. We have all of the power to shift from being a victim. We can stop focusing on what we can't control. We can instead focus on what we can control. We believe in ourselves and we know that we can accomplish this task or this goal. For me, I stopped saying, I don't have the resources, I don't have the time, I don't have the right equipment to make videos, I don't have the right skills. And I started saying, what can I do with what I have? Do my videos look perfect? Are they absolutely amazing? No, and that's okay, because that's not my goal anyways. I mean, yes, my goal is to get better, right? But my main goal is to deliver my message, to help you and empower you to remember your magic, to remember the power that you have to change your life. The shift from being a victim to being a creator happens through action. Not thinking, not preparing or planning, but action. Actually taking a step towards your goal. When you take action, even when you're filled with fear or doubt in yourself and you're uncertain and you're afraid of the unknown, even when you feel like you're not ready, when you take that action, you prove to yourself that you can do it and that you have the power to be the creator of your life. And that becomes a feedback loop for your brain. It becomes evidence. New pathways are now formed in your brain. And once you start proving this to yourself, everything changes. Your confidence grows, your skills develop, your opportunities expand. A lot more possibilities are now available to you. You become someone who can create solutions instead of someone who just complains about the problems. Every single one of you watching this today or listening in has this power inside of them, but only you have the power to decide to shift from being a victim to being a creator. Only you can be the one to take the first step. No one else can take it for you. Only you can believe in yourself. We can believe in you, but until you believe in yourself, then you won't take that first step. Action creates momentum. Momentum keeps fueling you forward and it builds confidence. And then confidence creates more action because you believe in yourself and you know that you can do it, that you've got what it takes, or that you'll be able to figure it out as you go and you trust yourself. You already have everything that you need to start. So here's your challenge for the week. I want you to take one small action towards something that you've been putting off. Take one small step towards a goal that you've been dreaming about for years. Write that first paragraph. Record a 30-second video. Make that post. Send an email or a text. Make a phone call. Whatever it is, just do it, like Nikki says. And remember that taking this step will give you the dopamine, which will keep making sure that you take the next step and the next. And each step you prove to yourself that you have what it takes and that you are capable. And you'll get to the end and be like, holy cow, I freaking did it. I am amazing. Look what I accomplished. Look what I did. And now look at how much life has opened up before me. Look at all of these new possibilities that I have access to. Look at all of these new people that I have in my life. Where your attention goes, energy flows. And so when you're focused on your goal, when you're focused on taking the next step and the next, remember your reticular activating system is now highlighting. It's now bringing everything you need into your conscious awareness. And so that is what helps life open up for you, because you're now able to see it. It was always there, you just couldn't see it. And so everything will fall into place once you start. A victim says, I need to stay small. I'm too scared. I'm not ready yet. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have what it takes. I'll just wait a little bit until I have it all figured out. A creator says, I trust myself. I'll figure it out as I go, and I know that I'll learn the skills and the knowledge that are necessary along my journey. Imagine where you could be a year ago from today. If I had never started a year ago, I wouldn't be here today recording this video. Imagine where you could be if you start taking imperfect action today. Imagine all of the skills and the confidence that you'll have. You can even picture yourself a year from now. Imagine this version of you and use that to motivate you to start today, because this version of you won't exist if you don't start today. Help your future self out. Start today. Take one tiny, imperfect, messy step. Remember, the path forms as you walk it, and you have the power to create the path. You have the power to write your own story. You have the power to create your own journey. Think of it like a choose your own adventure book. Each choice that you make leads to the next. Drop a comment below and let me know, what is one action that you are going to take this week? I would love to hear. And if you're listening in, just write it down on a piece of paper. Setting that intention and writing it down highlights, this is important. Let's focus on this. You can even let somebody know what your next step is going to be that you're going to take, and they can help hold you accountable. And we can help hold each other accountable here in the comments section. Make sure to like, subscribe, or follow, whatever that looks like for you on whatever platform you're on. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for being a part of my journey. Thank you for witnessing me on my messy journey and my path as it unfolds. I am so thankful for each and every one of you that gave me your time and your energy here today. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. Like I said earlier, in the next episode, I am going to be talking about how you already have everything within you that you need to start your journey. And so if you tell yourself things like, well, this all sounds good, but I'm just not like other people, I'll never be able to do it. I'm just not smart enough. I don't know enough. I can never be a leader. Then this episode is going to be perfect for you, because anything that you desire to be, any dream or goal that you have the power to accomplish it. You have the power and the capability within you to be everything that you want to be. So I will see you in that episode. Thank you again for being here. Sending you so much love this week. Bye.